Warning. It is the opinion of the Forestry Productions LLC and the Working Perspectives podcast that we should inform you that some of the language used in this recording could possibly be considered offensive. You have been warned, so if you decide to listen to the recording, then don't complain about the language.
The helicopters that we built are the same kind of helicopter that the President of the United States flies in.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. At the time, I think it was Obama. The set that I sanded and polished and finished got installed onto the president's helicopter.
Shut
up.
So I thought that was like a pretty neat thing, right? Like like to build something like your workmanship.
Yeah.
That's where it went to. Like that was
dude, that is exactly what we were talking about on this show. Right? Like, that's
it is,
exactly what we were talking about. The president gets into this helicopter. We all see it. Who put that together? Who got the parts? Like, yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's guys like Ian out there that are they're building this world around us that we get to live in. And it's fun. That's what I love hearing. I love hearing that stuff.
It's crazy.
Hi, hello, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to talk to some real people about some real things, living real lives, doing real stuff. This is the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied today by jdub, Justin Richardson, the amazing Jamie Iglesias, Mr. Thick Fit USA himself, Chad Kilhefner, and our guest today is the one and the only Ian Hewitt. In case you're wondering, you can find all our stuff and all our content on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. Yeah, us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can join us on the Twitter and the TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workperspectives@gmail.com. And please like, subscribe, so we keep bringing you this sweet, sweet content. Jalen Dub, how we doing? Bay.
I'm feeling thick.
Feeling thick, looking thick. Very nice. Jamie, how are you, my lady?
I'm good. Tuesdays are my new days off of work, so I've been chilling all day.
Nice. Love it. Very good. Chad Kilhefner back on the show. Thick Fit USA. Super excited to have you back. Really, really happy to get into this. How are you doing, my man?
Doing fantastic. Feeling stupendous, and we're rolling thick.
Rolling thick. Love it. Well, speaking of rolling thick, this is the Working Perspectives podcast. Let's get this thing started. Let's go.
It's our objective to be effective by voicing societies. Working perspective, exploring your day and how you get paid. Launching a new episode every Tuesday. Your day can transform while we inform with new episodes available on every platform. So check out our vibe and how we get live, then do us a solid. Share and subscribe. We're just sharing. We're just sharing. We're just sharing. Working perspectives.
Well, I gotta tell you. So he told me about it, and he said he wanted me to listen to it. Right, it was important, and we had been discussing, many other things over the prior few years about it. And I did. I listened to it on my way home from work one day, and I gotta tell you, man, I constantly work on my patience, my politeness, but coming from Philly, it's not natural to me, right? I'm a pessimist. I'm a half glass empty type guy.
Sure. I
listened to about the first 10 minutes, and I don't know what came over me, but I just immediately said, nah, this ain't what I thought it would be. And I called Chad. You know what Chad said to me? He said, hey, you need to calm down, take a breath, take a step back, rewind, start it over, and I want you to listen again. And I'm so glad he did, because when I did that, it made me realize, hey, this is a constant learning process, right? We're constantly working on ourselves, the environment around us, the environment in which we work in. And if you wouldn't have done that, I would have gone back to the same old Ian I was, growing up back home and doing the things I was doing. But as soon as he said that, Matt, I looked at you, I looked at jdub, I listened to Chad, and I immediately changed my perspective about a lot of things, a lot of things Chad and I were discussing at the time. And I just wanted to let you know, thank you for having me on. Like, this is pretty significant to me, and here's why. After that, a few days after I listened to it, I kept going back and watching parts of it, right?
Okay.
And the first thought I had was, wow, who is this Matt guy? Because Working Perspectives, where did he come up with that title? So I have a BA in advertising from Temple University.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know, I'm okay with words. Communication is my thing, right? But I say that title says something to me, and I didn't know at the time. It took me a few weeks, but I was so impressed once it hit me. For you to want to do a show like this and bring people on and interview them about work, the role it plays in their life, and then I read your like a mission statement, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, what it's done for our society and how we've built the world that we live in through work.
Yeah.
I called Chad immediately. I said, I might be in love with this guy. I said, what does he know that I know, but I don't know that I know yet? You know what I mean? So good for you. I think this
dude, you're the best, man. Thank you so much. That was really nice. Thank you.
The weeks and months after that, and by the way, it was a very important time when you had Chad on in my life and Chad's life. And the weeks and months after I had that kind of revelation, I admitted to myself, you know, work has played a significant role in my life, even though I never intended it to. It has. And I just said to myself, man, like, I can't ignore that fact. And here's a dude out there that actually wants to talk about it. Yeah. So I just thought that was just the neatest thing. So
no.
Good for what you're doing. J-Dub, Jamie, you guys are lucky that you're part of this, and thank you for Chad, man.
Dude, I'll tell you, man. Thank you so much, man. I'll tell you, there's a lot of this whole process, this journey, and you know, Justin and Jamie know, and Chad, you know too, and you know, I think everybody kind of gets this at a point where if you're betting on yourself and like putting things out there, it's a lot of eating crow. A lot of like thinking things will go good and you're like, oh shit, I was wrong. And you know what I mean? And there's a lot of times like there are so many fucking haters out there, especially if something does go well, you really do think like, fuck, I guess I didn't go well. You know what I mean? Because so many people, even people close to you, will shit on you, right? So I shit on Chad a long time ago, and I was like, nah, he's not my friend anymore, and I shit on him. If I wanted to, I was angry, I was mad. So you're right. Even the closest people
we'll tell that story.
Yeah,
and it was about work too, you know. So
yeah,
but like I said to you, like I actually want to interview you. I want to know what gave you the idea to do this. You know, what have you done in your life to actually have this perspective? But maybe we'll do that. Maybe me and
Part two.
Part two.
Down the line. But
that's a 4-hour episode. 4-hour episode.
Yeah,
I've always taken the title of this show, like literally, you know, like the working perspective, but that is an actual your comments there. It's very nice, and thank you. And Matt does deserve all that praise.
It's a team. No, it's
without
team
him.
Here.
Yeah, but the man built the house that we all hang out.
Great title, by the way. Freaking great, dude. Listen,
but I never considered like working on like your perspective. Like it's not even necessarily like the working perspective. It's always like job. Literally, like, when you said that, like it is like an opening of perspectives, because like we do have the duality of like Matt is similar to my father in the sense of like a get up and go to work kind of guy, and I am nothing like that.
So me and you are like then, Jada. My wife is more like Matt.
Oh, my girlfriend is a monster at work. They hang her jersey on the wall, and that's not even a joke.
So it sounds like my wife, Chad's wife, and J Dub's wife should probably be Matt's wives. Sorry, Jocelyn.
My wife is she's one of those, dude. She puts everybody to shame. She's
okay, cool. Hey, so
so
you can take on all 4 of them then.
No, yeah, right. No, dude, thank you. So I'll tell you, but it like I said, we got to eat a lot of crow doing this, and there's a lot of people that'll tell you like, oh, you should be doing this and should be doing that because they think they know what's going on. But when you hear people say like a genuinely positive thing, it provides so much motivation. You have no idea. So thank you so much. I really do. That really does mean a lot. And I know we all appreciate it very much. That's very nice.
Hey, small things mean a lot. It's a small thing to you, but it's a big thing for me. And there it is.
It's a huge thing for me too, man. Thank you. To answer your question about the name of the show, when I was coming, the initial iteration of the show was myself and my friend. His name was Tom Byers, but we all called him Shake, right? And the initial iteration was me and him. And the idea is that, like it said in our questionnaire, if it like the room you're sitting in right now, right? Unless you build it with your hands, you have no idea how that room got there, who made the materials for that room, right? Who put the insurance together to like create it, anything like that, right? And that's just the room you're in, let alone walking outside and seeing the streets and the signs and the cars and the planes. Like, no idea where any of that come from or who puts it together or how it gets there. We just all accept that it's there, right? Like, what the fuck? So the idea initially, the idea initially, right, was I wanted to call it like something like the Blue Collar Podcast or like the Working Man's Podcast or something along those lines. And shout out to Billy the Barber Nichols, former guest of the show, friend of the show. I was talking to him about it, right? And he had said, "What about Working Perspectives?" And dude, I was like, I mean, I can say the story now because I've copyrighted the name. So I was like, tough shit, Bill. But
sorry, Billy the Barber.
Yeah, Billy the Barber. If anyone asks, it's copyrighted and it's mine. So fuck off. But no, it's no, he's the man. He's been on a bunch of times and I love that guy. But yeah, that's how, dude. He kind of just like, it was kind of like one of those sessions like where we were talking back and forth and he just kind of put everything together that we were talking about and then there it came.
Good.
All right. On the show today, we got a hitter. All right. Let's do a little talking, a little backtracking. The initial Chad Kilhefner returns to the show. I think this is the third time, Chad. Your third time on the show?
Number 3. That's
number
right.
3. Lucky number 3. So your first initial recording was December 28th of 2021, right? He was there. I think he was like episode 102 or something. Or no, you're probably like 105 or 110, something like that. I'm dating us, but we aired episode 237 today. So Chad was here early doors, right? He was he was just before the first year, right? Which is incredible. He then came back for the Henzo Gracie Roundtable, which was a blast. Great show.
Total blast.
Both of these shows are available now on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. But when he initially recorded on December 28th of 2021, I remember him telling me, he's like, "Hey, dude, you got to have my buddy Ian on. He's the man. He's done all this stuff. He's a super good guy." And I'm really, really excited that, that we were able to get him on. Super, super happy he's here. Ian, thank you so much for being on. Super excited to have you here. But before we get started, I would just like to ask, what movie do you think is better? The Godfather Part 1 or The Godfather Part 2?
Oh, 2. Easy. That's easy.
All day. You hear that, Justin? Number 2.
Hey, the scene when he runs the rooftops in the beginning, dude, and commits. Come on, man. You don't have to watch. You don't have to watch most of the other ones, dude. That's it right there.
That's fucking cinema.
That's better than Santino. I mean, the Santino fight scenes when Santino gets done.
Because he's young, he's new, he's fresh, and he don't give up.
Yeah. Apparently, too.
Make his mark, right? Ready to make his mark.
Apparently too, when they told like James Caan, right, when he beats up the sister's husband, Carlo,
Carlo.
right? Apparently that was all real. Like apparently that guy had done something. Like Francis Ford Coppola told James Caan that like this guy had really done. Like they said that he didn't pull his punches when he was beating up Talia Shire, right? And that he like really hit her. And James Caan legit fucking whooped his ass. Yeah,
that makes sense because James Caan is freaking. You can tell something hit him in that scene, man.
Oh yeah, dude, I love James Caan.
I do too. You could tell Carlo was in trouble after he got the phone call and he had to bite his fist.
Yeah.
You knew he was out. You knew there was trouble to follow. You knew there was trouble.
Oh yeah.
I have to watch these movies.
Oh man. So hey, Jamie, I'm not a huge Godfather guy, but just watch 2. All you gotta do is watch 2.
You're eating Italian chocolate.
To watch the first
Jamie,
one.
For Christ's
Do not
sake.
listen to him.
Yeah.
I need to watch both.
Start with number 1.
Yeah, I gotta watch both so I can have an answer to this question.
Just watch the third and not the first 2.
Jamie, did you get a new camera?
I did, the one you sent me.
Oh, that's great.
I was gonna ask, do I look better?
You look
Hey, step
incredible.
You look
Nice.
I
nice.
haven't noticed. All right.
Nice.
Sorry. All right.
Hey, let me make a suggestion here, right? Hey, Godfather, that's great and all. Hey, it's just stereotypical East Coast, man. Come on, there's better shit out there. Come on. Let's get out of the Piedmont Plateau, all right?
No, we were thinking like the reason I like to ask that is because I feel like those are two different types of people. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I'm not saying The Godfather is the best movie ever. It's a great movie. Godfather Part 2 is even better. But I'm just saying, it's two different.
What was the other one we were doing? Hook or Princess Bride?
No,
Yeah.
Aladdin. Aladdin or Return of Jafar.
Oh my
That was last week.
That was brutal. So,
you guys are coming out left field.
yeah, Chad, what was your answer to the Godfather question?
I believe it was part 1, Matt.
Was that the same? Was that the same?
So I might have got that wrong, but I believe it was part 1.
You did not.
Oh, you got it wrong. You got it wrong.
Right, J-Dub? No,
Yeah,
I'm with
you're
you.
right.
I'm with you.
Yeah. All right. Ian, what about Cheetos? Crunchy or puff?
Oh man, not a big Cheetos guy, but if we do buy them, they're the puff, dude. Actually, no. Hold on, wait. The crunchy are the thin ones, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, crunchy, 100%, dude.
Yeah.
They look like little weird things, huh?
Yeah. They look like clubs, like
Crunchy,
caveman clubs or something.
Bam, bam, bam,
Yeah,
bam.
yeah,
You can tell when you eat those. You can tell when you eat those. They make them with something not good for you at all, dude.
Oh yeah, that's poison. You're eating poison.
Which makes them bomb.
Oh, that makes
They
them even
take
better.
a little bit of soul, and that's how they shrink them down.
Yeah. Nice. And then Ian, what about pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes through and through, dude.
Yeah, well, can't say I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, well, hey, you know why? Hey, somewhere along the line, you were spoiled, dude. That's why. Hey, who has a waffle maker? Who orders waffles, dude? Hey, pancakes, bro.
Flapjacks. The working man's flapjacks.
You got it. What do you need? What do you need? Wheat, butter, and water, eggs. Come on,
You
man.
can make them on a radiator.
Butter and syrup.
You can make them on a
Can't
okay.
make waffles on a radiator.
Yeah, well, all right, and then what about theme park or water park? So amusement park or water park? So Dorney Park or Wild Water Kingdom?
Yeah. I'm a big roller coaster guy, but if I'm in shape, I don't mind a good water park, man. Not at all.
Sure.
No. Hey, I'm a married man. I've been with my wife for almost 20 years. Hey, water park all the way, and I think we know why.
Yeah. Right. Just because you can't order doesn't mean you can't look at the menu. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, why else do you think I live in California?
Sure. Hey, yeah, duh. All right, what part of California?
All right, so I live in a part of California called the Central Coast, Santa Barbara County.
Oh, nice.
60 miles north of the city of Santa Barbara, 150 miles north of Los Angeles, and I'm about midway point between. What's that?
Sorry, 150 miles north.
Yeah, 150 miles north of LA.
What city are you?
We're about midway between LA and San Fran. About midway.
That's what I was just gonna ask you.
People forget California is a long fucking state.
It is. So the real answer to that question is this: where I live in California, it's called the Central Coast, and basically that's a general region from Santa Barbara where the land comes out, it juts out into a point called Point Conception, and then it goes north where Big Sur is.
Yeah.
And then it comes out at Monterey, Santa Cruz, and then up to the San Fran, the peninsula there. Mm-hmm. But what I call this area, I call it the Middle Kingdom. And I got that from my father-in-law because this is California's best kept secret, which feel free to edit that out. Because if someone doesn't know about it, we don't tell them about it.
Yeah.
People drive from LA, San Fran, LA, and they just drive right past and they don't stop.
Good.
This is our little spot right here.
Yeah, hell yeah, your little piece of heaven. Nice, man.
Oh, you have no idea, man.
I was born in California. I was born in Thousand Oaks, and then I lived in Simi Valley till I was 7. And then
super familiar.
Yeah. And then my dad was in Watts the day of the Rodney King riots. So as soon as that happened, we fucking left.
Oh God. So when I worked at SpaceX's main factory in a little city called Hawthorne, and the factory's on Crenshaw Boulevard, and it's right. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. I drove up there one night just for fun, just to check it out.
Just to check
Crenshaw,
it out.
like Boys in the Hood, Crenshaw.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Crenshaw Mafia, baby.
Yeah, baby.
I had to do it because I wanted to relive my old North Philly days.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Sure. Nice. Okay. And then next question, Ian. Chevy Chase or Bill Murray?
I think I'm a Chevy Chase guy. I've been watching a lot of old 80s stuff.
Oh my God.
That's a lot of old 80s
Chase.
Wow.
You're the first Chevy Chase.
I knew a man.
And if for no other reason, the Christmas movie, because that's life.
Yeah.
That's life right there, right?
True.
He's happy, he's not happy. He's thrilled, he's not thrilled. He's high, he's low.
Yeah, true. That's especially too, like, you're dealing with your in-laws, you're dealing with your neighbors, you know. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dealing with cousin Eddie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My neighbor over here, 9 years, man. Guy doesn't even wave to me. Right here, 9 years, doesn't even wave.
No shit.
Doesn't even wave.
Who were just on Wave, and that's it. Like, I don't know his name, and I know he doesn't know mine. I think my girlfriend might have told him. And dude, but we're on a strict, solid. Hey, and that's it. And he's my favorite neighbor.
Judge you too soon, jdub. Hey, nice work.
Love this guy. When I shovel, I'll go up to his driveway, like cover like his half portion.
Yeah.
Oh, I love him.
That's a good neighbor. That's the only reason why I would move back to Philly, is just to do shit like that.
He's the type that'll go like, hey, but he doesn't come any closer. That's it.
Hey, I know you're there. You know there. Right. Yeah.
Oh, hey, jdub, you would hate me then if I was your neighbor, dude. I'd be up in your business every day.
The other one. Yeah. So these people on the other side, they're like, hey. I'm like, I got to go inside.
Yeah.
The dog's got stuff to do.
Yeah.
Oh, you miserable East Coaster.
Yeah. No, I mean, I lucked out all the.
I love them all.
I have a kid, so there's kids, so you have to talk to the parents. But lucked out, all the parents around here are pretty cool, so it's not a bad deal.
That's a whole nother episode of that.
Oh yeah, man. So nice. All right, then the last question, and probably the most important question that you'll ever have, is when it comes to wing, are you drums or are you flats?
When it comes to what?
Wings, chicken wings.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah, we asked the fucking hard questions around here.
I don't even know if that's the appropriate question to ask. Who asked that question? Where'd you learn to ask somebody that question?
It came. A lot of these come up from me and Justin will text each other and be like, "Hey, which one do you like better?" All right, well, let's fucking argue about it. Okay, done. So he's a flat.
Right. So how about this? Let me do this for you. I'm not going to answer that. I'm not going to give my personal answer, but this is what I'm going to tell you. My first significant experience with chicken wings was my freshman year at Edinburgh University up near Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Me and another dude from Quakertown used to hang out with the basketball team, right? A lot of dudes from inner cities, Pittsburgh, Erie, Philly, whatever. Mm-hmm. Hey, I saw those dudes for the first time in my life. They put the wing in their mouth and they suck all the meat off of it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's impressive. They offered us the wings. My buddy grabbed the drumstick. I thought all hell was going to break loose. Dude looked at him and said, hey, when a man offers you his wings, you don't take the fucking drumsticks. You don't take the drumsticks.
There's a hierarchy. There's a hierarchy with wings.
Hey, that's what the boys told me, all right? So I know
that is correct.
Drumstick's the correct answer.
But I've been in California a long time, man. There ain't no wings out here, dude. So I don't have really any reason.
You guys got good sushi though.
Oh, I could take you to a spot, dude.
Oh, I bet, man. That's one thing we don't get over here. You forget like you guys, obviously, like, you're closer to Mexico. The Mexicans gonna be great, but also you're closer to Asia. So you're, Japanese cuisine and China, like all that shit's gonna be so much better than over here.
I lived in Newport Beach for a couple of years, man. There's a restaurant down there called Bear Flag, right? Like off the California flag, the big bear. Mm-hmm. They owned two boats that would come out of the harbor early morning. Those boats would come back. They had two restaurants, one down in between Laguna and Newport, and then one out on the peninsula in Newport. Those boats would come back around 5, 6, 7 in the morning. Boom, 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 boom. Dude, doors would open at 11. Those sushi plates, gone by 11:45. Gone.
Probably magnificent.
Just fresh cut right. Oh my God, I bet it's incredible.
But now here's the question. Ian, Bear Flag Sushi or freaking Bravo's Pizza and Percy, right? I spent a lot of time flying back home over the years, taking care of my mom. Airport, any pizza joint on the way to whoever's house I was going to, large pie, plain, get to the house, straight to the kitchen, over the sink, 4 slices straight to the head, dude. Grease dripping in the sink.
Love it.
Screwed with that.
The pizza's so much better over here, you're saying.
Okay, so no more talk about the pizza. I freaking miss it every day.
Nice. So, okay, let's keep it moving then. So, like you said, you were born in Percy, grew up in Quakertown, right?
Yeah, got Grandview Hospital, March 78. And then I grew up in Quakertown. I grew up in a 200-year-old one-room schoolhouse that was heated by a wood stove. I think my parents bought it in 74. Good trash. Like, dude, it was not in good shape. My dad and his 2 brothers built the second story on it, 2 bedrooms, one for them, one for me and my sister. And that's where I grew up for 19 years.
Dude.
That sounds kind of cool, though.
Sounds kind of haunted.
The great house.
That's another episode.
Yep.
So, Jamie, the back wall to it, there's a one-room schoolhouse, front door, and then there's 3 windows on either side, like the big, long windows with the big, thick windowsills.
Yeah.
And then on the back wall, behind the stone and the stucco, was the old chalkboard. It was huge.
Oh, that's so cool.
My parents tried to build an addition on it, so we took down that wall. All the signatures of some of the kids were on the chalkboard when we found it.
Oh my God. They were all haunting that place.
Yeah.
Old slate roof, man. Bats living in there. It was wild. Chad knows. That was a wild place.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Dude,
There were definitely some spirits roaming around that place.
Dude,
yeah.
that was like a schoolhouse from like the Civil War, right? Like,
so I don't know the exact year, but so I was there, say 1980. They would say 200 years, so that's 1780, right?
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
1780. So
George Washington built that school, you're saying. Yeah.
Hey, George Washington stayed in every place around there, didn't he?
Yeah. How about it, man?
Yeah,
Nice.
so that's where I grew up. And you want to talk about work? You know, my first job was probably 8 years old.
Love it.
We heated it with wood, so we get a cord of wood every fall. I'm afraid to ask my dad this question, but he used to get the cord of wood dropped off on the opposite side of the house. So 8 years old, middle of winter. Ian, take the wheelbarrow, go get wood. Around the freaking house, getting wood, middle of winter. And I will never forget that to this day. Like, that sucked, right? I hated doing it. I didn't like doing it. And now as an adult, Dad, why did you keep the wood on that side of the house?
Because he wanted you to work.
Hey, Jamie, maybe, right? Maybe. But you know what? I'll never ask him because I don't want to hear that answer.
So I would only go to my dad had a wood burning stove in the basement. I would only go to his house every other weekend because my parents were divorced. And you would show up to the house on a Friday. There would be a full cord of wood in the driveway. And I was like, oh, sick. This is what I get to do this weekend. He had those like open up doors to the basement, you know, so it's like, 6 steps and then the basement door is there. So we would put the cord of wood into that door cell. So then he could open the door and load it in the basement. It's a cool process. The one time I just like threw it in there. I didn't like place it nicely.
No.
And literally it was like restack it. And I was like, what?
Oh yeah. Been
A
there.
cord of wood is a lot of wood.
A lot of wood.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Hey, and Matt, that's what I was saying earlier, man, when we were introducing ourselves. Like work is a thing, right? Like there's, especially my years in California, I've met all kinds of people. I've met some that actually haven't done much work, right? They've had pretty fortunate lives. I've met people that have fortunate lives and have put in a lot of work in very like particular ways. But like from where I'm from, where you guys are from, what jdub just said, hey, work is something that is unavoidable for most people, right?
Agreed.
So to me, like J-Dub, I don't know who your dad is, right? I don't know what kind of guy he is, but for a dad to teach his kid a lesson like that, there's a reason why he did that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Let's give him some credit, right? Let's say it wasn't because he was pissed off or he freaking didn't like you. Let's say somewhere in his head he was like, "Hey, I'm going to teach this boy a lesson, and this is how I'm going to teach."
Yeah.
I hated it, but guess what? I never threw the wood in the basement doors again. I stacked it from there on out.
Yep. Yeah. My dad, one of the houses he lived in was built in it set it on like this side. It was this really old stone house by North Penn High School. I think it was like 1792 it was built. And the way it was built, it had it was fireplace everywhere. So in the floor beams were different sizes because back then, right? Like there were different sizes. There was definitely space in between the floor beams and stuff. It was a stone house and everything. But there was a fireplace in the living room, and it directly went up to the master bedroom, which had a fireplace in it. And then on the other side of that was like another bedroom that had another fireplace in it.
Yeah,
So he was
an old farmhouse. Did you go up an old farmhouse?
Yeah, I didn't. He moved there when I was in when I was like 15. But yeah, I would spend time there. But I would, when he would get the wood, I would have to stack the cord of wood. You know what I mean? And it was always fun, just fun.
The first thing I tell you guys about my life, two of you have similar stories, man.
I'll tell you this though. I had a buddy of mine. He was moving and he had torn down this old oak tree because he was selling his house, and one of the things they wanted was like to move this tree, right? Beautiful, massive tree. But for that summer, we split the logs, bro. That's a job. I want to talk let's get a lumberjack on here. That's a real
pneumatic. Did you use a pneumatic wood splitter?
So the way we do it is they cut it in rings, right? Yeah. So we'd roll the ring on top of the machine, and we'd put it in, and then we'd break the ring in half, right? And then we'd kind of break the ring into sixths, and then we would get the axe and we would split it ourselves after that. And then we would split it even more. And then, bro, but it was dude, I felt like I was fuck, I could lift a house after that.
That's where you get that punching power.
So Matt, I know exactly what you're talking about. I lived in when I moved to California after I graduated Temple, I moved to a town in California called Mammoth Lakes. It sits up on the eastern side of the Sierra Nevada mountains. Okay. And I couldn't find a job in my degree, right, in New York City or Philly or anywhere. So I said, hell with it, man. I'm gonna go check some shit out, right? Yeah. I took a job at a ski resort for $8.60 an hour in November of 2003. Ooh. How old was I then? 25, maybe? Yeah, 25 years old. $8.60 an hour. I packed up my Jeep Wrangler that I bought on Valentine's Day the same year, and I went out to California. So I met my wife out there not long after. Firewood is a very, very important thing when you live up in the mountains like that, right? So just this year, I think it was on the news back there. Mammoth Mountain Ski Area, Mammoth Lakes, has gotten crushed with snow this year. When I mean crushed, I mean absolute. They have tunnels to get to your house. I mean, it's insane, right?
It's a ski lift, and it was up to the lift. So if you're sitting in the cart, whatever you call it, they showed a picture of normal, and then it was literally you could get off the ski lift at any point.
Yep. You dig a tunnel just for the chairlift to go up the mountain. Anyway, I left Pennsylvania 230 pounds, fat from drinking, from eating cheesesteaks, from eating pizza. Went out there just from skiing, shoveling snow, and chopping wood. 185 straight stud. My wife, I couldn't get my wife away from me. She was like, "Look at you, from Philly like you." I'm like, "Nah, I'm special, right?"
Yeah.
Anyway,
wait till you meet my friend Chad.
Oh no, yeah. She did not long after, and she said, "Why are you friends with that guy? You and him are
right."
Yeah. Anyway, we got some firewood for the following winter. So I didn't know what green firewood. I didn't know there's a difference between green and seasoned, right? Do you guys know?
The green's the stuff that's still alive,
fresh.
Right?
Well, fresh, right? Hey, can't really cut it, right?
Yeah.
I was so cheap and frugal. I didn't want to spend money to rent a wood chopper, right? Mm-hmm. So I got that wood dumped in the parking garage under my apartment, and I went down there with a wedge and a sledge, and I tried to break that wood myself.
That's a hard job.
Yeah. That is no joke.
So whoever invented that pneumatic wood chopper, let's find him and have him on the show.
Oh, dude, fan of the show, listener of the show, big time. Oh yeah. Shout out to that guy, whoever he is. Man, love it. Nice. And then okay, so the first job you had, kind of first work you did, we'll say. It's the first work. Work was hauling the logs for the old man to keep the schoolhouse house lit, And then what would you say? What was the next work you did after that?
So next one, someone could probably prove me wrong if we went back, but I think I was probably 10 years old, and in the neighborhood, I lived on a rural street. Mm-hmm. And in the neighborhood, there was a bunch of kids my age, a little bit older, about half a mile down the road. was a farm, and they called it a weed shop. And what they did was they grew wild plants, flowers, weeds. They would harvest them, bundle them, and dye them. And then everyone from all over Bucks County would come and buy them. It was called Thayer's Weed Shop on Muskrat Road. So that guy used to hire the local kids for the summers to come bundle and hang in the barn.
Yeah.
So all the older kids in the neighborhood were already working there for a few summers. So, of course, they recruited me at 10 years old.
Sure.
I went down there, hot, humid. There's like a little swamp down there. It's in between the ridge. You know where the ridge is, like Penn Ridge, like Percy, Sellersville?
Yeah.
It's in between that ridge and like where Quakertown is. Like there's a swamp down there. So that's where the farm was. The guy, Thayer, Mr. Thayer, he came out and I was 60, 80 years old. I couldn't tell as a kid, right?
Yeah.
He had this hump on his back and I got some kind of tumor or something. And he was old rock. I need you boys to hang these weeds up all day. I'll come and tell you when it's time to quit. And I lasted maybe 1 week. 1 week. I was scared of that guy.
Sure.
That barn, I wanted no part of it. I wanted no part of that barn.
120 degrees.
For about a week.
You're like, I'll take a 200-year-old schoolhouse that's 100% haunted, but this barn can go fuck off.
That was a weird place back there. That street that was on was next to the railroad tracks, and there was a quarter-mile straightaway. And my dad and their friends who went to Penn Ridge, they said back in the 70s they used to use it as a racetrack, like a quarter-mile racetrack.
Nice.
Instead of a metal guardrail, there's a top of the hill, and then it turned, and then it dropped off to the railroad tracks. And back in the day, they put up a wood fence. The wood fence was still broke from where cars went down in there, and they said kids
did we drive on the railroad track?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Even when I got my bicycle and I used to like cruise around, there was something about that area back there that didn't feel right.
Wow. So we had previously we had a guy on the show. His name was Todd Wyden, right? And he was from Connecticut. And one of his first jobs is he worked on a tobacco farm, right? Where they would hang and dry leaves and and then they would bundle them and all that stuff. So kind of very similar to what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And he would say like, one, the barn had to be heated to dry out to dry out the stuff. So you're in the summer, it's already hot as hell, and then you're going into this barn and that's burning you up, like, and you're a kid and there's probably fumes everywhere and all that stuff. So wait, what kind of weeds were they growing though? Like just
Matt, I don't freaking know. Who knows, man?
Like wildflowers?
Okay.
Honestly, I don't know. Chad, I bet you if you go out around your house, I bet you it's just like that. I bet it's whatever.
Yeah, it's probably wildflowers and stuff.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, so
but Matt, great question, because there's this guy, right? And I don't know when he started it, but that would be awesome to find out. He must one day, I bet you, he went out on his farm, looked around at all the wild grass growing. How do you come up with that idea? Hey, let's put that down, let's bundle it, and let's see what it looks like if we add some food dyes or whatever. There's money. I remember seeing like the women, right? Probably moms, grandmas, whatever. They would probably come from Lansdale, Percy, they would come from all over. That place was busy all the time.
If you dye the weeds, they will come.
Yeah, I mean, like
they will. Apparently so.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture like what it would even look like, just a weed. I mean, I don't know.
Like a dried flower.
Women are fucking weird with the shit they want to buy. Let me tell you.
Dried flowers?
Hey, take it easy.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty. It's a good aesthetic.
Yeah. I mean, that would look great in our guest bathroom. Yeah, all right, whatever. But yeah. No, it's got to go with the theme of the house. But either way, let's keep it moving. So okay.
So after that, I'll tell a little bit of a story here, and if you want to read, go ahead, and Chad, you do the same for me. So after I quit that, my mom said, "Yeah, that's all right. You don't got to work down there." Next thing, weed whacker at the schoolhouse, quarter-acre property. My mom mowed the grass with the push mower, so I didn't want it. She wouldn't let me do that, but it was weed whacker. So every summer, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, weed whacking. My dad was a carpet installer. So same thing, 10, 11, 12, summertime. Ian, back of the van, 6 a.m., 7 a.m. We would drive to Frenchtown, New Jersey. We would drive, I don't know where else we would pick up the carpet. We would take me with me as his helper, right? Absolutely miserable, horrible.
Yeah.
And as I got older, he would tell me, "Hey, I made you come to work with me, so it would give you something to think about. Maybe you want to go to college." And no one in my family had gone to college, right?
Yeah.
I did that. And then first real job, which I refused to answer on your questionnaire. I think I put my answer down as it's complicated.
I saw that. Yeah.
First real job, 13 years old, a bus boy at Plain and Fancy Diner on 309 in Quakertown.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like legit, like 13, dude.
Mom, working papers.
Mom and dad pick you up Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings, maybe like a weeknight after school or whatever.
It was all like, under the table.
What grade? Actually, I don't even know. Now, dude,
you're in 8th grade at that point, right?
How do you have 6 jobs before you're in high school? That's amazing.
That's why I say it's complicated. You guys don't even understand how I've had a lot of jobs in my life. I mean, there is no exaggeration there. You drive up to Quakertown 309. I've worked in probably over 50% of those establishments.
So you're in. Okay, so you're 13, Plain and Fancy. So from the time we get into high school until you're into college, like what are the couple jobs and stuff that you did then through your high school?
Sure. Plain and Fancy, Myers Restaurant, or no, that's good. Plain and Fancy movie theater, right? But buttered popcorn, serving sodas. Little Caesars Pizza, which I walked out because the regional manager came in. I had stubble on my face. I was probably 15, and she said, "Here's $20. Go buy a razor. You have to shave." And I looked at her. I said, "What are you talking about? I'm 15 years old. I make pizza at Little Caesars." I took her $20. And I was out. I called up my boys and I said, "Hey,
like this is enough money to never come back here again."
Never, ever. Little Caesars, another diner, Myers Restaurant. So to start off dishwasher, they liked me. Went up to food prep, made the best mashed potatoes in Upper Bucks County at 16 years old.
Oh shit!
Money. Moved up to line cook, right? Flipping some food on the line there.
How did you I'll tell you, getting into the restaurant industry as a whole, like when you're a kid going out to a restaurant, it's like a time and experience. But when you start working in restaurants, especially in the kitchens, that's some real motherfuckers you're in there with. And it's like a lot of locker room talk because it's mostly guys. And it's like there's rules that you have to adhere to, and the quality of your work matters and things like that. And you gotta know how to bust balls and
big deal shit.
Yeah. And also if you're young at that time and they're all older guys, they all got fucking stories and talking about, getting with chicks and drugs.
You don't stand a chance, dude. You don't stand a chance.
But those guys are dude, I did the same thing. I was busting.
I was going to say there's only 2 ways you know that. If you did it yourself or if you had guests on your show that told you about it.
No, dude, I worked in restaurants forever. And I was busting tables when I was in 8th grade, so 13. So yeah, dude, no, I'm with you, but it's cool. But cooks are cool, man. They're smoking, they're hanging out, they're telling stories, they're busting balls, and you know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. So what was the deal there? How did you at a young age being in the restaurant industry? Especially back of the house.
I mean, for me, it was cool. I think I had 2 or 3 buddies who already worked there, right? Jason Bogert worked there. I think John Paul worked there, right? We were all dishwashers, so we all he would work Monday night, John would work Tuesday night, I'd work Wednesday night. Jason, so we had our thing, it was part of our deal. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We'd drop each other off after school. So that was all good, man. That was all good. That was a fine job. There were some older girls in high school, grades above us. They were waitresses there, so got to meet some new people that I probably wouldn't have otherwise.
Love it.
That lasted a little while. I think I did a pretty solid job there, but I wasn't the greatest kid from probably 10th grade on. Right. I think 12th grade, Chad, I look back, I'm proud of who we were in 12th grade, but I don't know about before that. So that job at that restaurant was my highlight, right? Nobody liked me. Nobody looked at me and said, "Oh, you got potential," or "I want you around." But the cook at that restaurant said, "Hey, Ian, come here, get over here. I need your help. Let me show you how to do this." And I was all about it. So
yeah. Right. No, dude, no, I'm with you. I found the same thing too. Old man kind of wasn't around, and you kind of look for older brother / father figures where you can, and you really fall into those relationships where going under someone's wing means a lot to you, and you really take time to listen and look up to those people. I've had a ton of those relationships, and they're super beneficial, and you kind of really look forward to them. You know what I mean? And
what you just brought up right there has been a huge part of my life, and I mean a big deal. I actually just had a guy when I started in aviation back in Percy on the helicopters.
Mhm.
This old gunny sergeant in the Marine Corps. He actually just called me out of nowhere 2 weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
This guy, he's 73 years old, and he said, "Ian, I've been thinking about you." And I said, "Ed, it's great to hear your voice, man. I've been thinking about you too." So what you just said, that's a big deal, man.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And do you find those people along? I'll tell you, we have a co-host on on our other show that airs on Fridays at noon every week, and it's available on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Work Perspectives Podcast. But we have our second show, our sister show. There's a co-host on there. His name's Bern Podcasty, and he was that guy for me for a long time. Still kind of is. Like kind of an older brother figure in a way where you're like, hey, I got this question or this problem, and you can go to them and talk to them and then just like hash it out. Or if you just got a bullshit or whatever, man, you know what I mean? Like those guys they're invaluable and they're awesome.
Yeah,
but
they are.
Real quick, we're coming to everyone's new favorite segment. It's time for jdub's questions, asking some questions. jdub's questions, a new favorite segment. jdub's questions segment, followed by Jamie. All right. So, Ian, Justin's going to ask you some questions. You're going to give him some answers, and it's going to be a lot of fun. J-Dub, take it away.
Do you have any nemesis?
What's that?
Again?
Do you have a nemesis?
Ooh,
Who do you hate the most?
I'll tell you who I hate the most.
Okay.
Woody Allen.
Fuck
him.
Hey, you know what? Hey, that's a perfectly timed question for us being here right now. Honest to God truth, and this might be a stretch, Chad was my nemesis for a little while, and that's why. Chad, when do we separate? Maybe around 08, 07, 08?
Yeah, somewhere around there, yeah.
Picked a fight. Chad and I worked at the same place for about 3 years, and there was something I saw in him that it stirred up something dark in me, right?
Sure.
So
everyone gets that with Chad, though, right? You know what I mean? Come on. It's like this thick, good-looking, jawline son of a bitch.
100%. And hey, Matt, good point. That fight I picked with you, I think, was in the making for a long time. That was in the making for a long time. I used to dream about it when I would stay the night in your guest room at your parents' house.
Oh, man.
Chad's like, I had no idea. I thought you were
my friend. Yeah, really. Let's go.
I blindsided him hard that day, hard. So to answer your question, J-Dub, Chad, if I had to pick anyone, it was Chad because I was mad, I was angry. I took it out on him, my friend, and I let him walk away for years and years and years and years and years. And it always bothered me. I said, me and him.
What were you mad at?
Me and Chad, we are opposite people. I was right to start that fight, and it's me against him. And if he ever wants to come back and talk about it, I'm right here waiting. Sorry, Chad.
What were you mad at?
Yeah.
So Chad and I, we met when we were about 15 years old, and we immediately became friends. We had a group of friends we were in, and it was obvious to me that Chad and I were brought up in very different families and very different worlds. And I knew that, but it never bothered me, right? It never bothered me. It wasn't a big deal, right? We had all kinds of friends, came from different
mutual.
Right.
But there came to a point, I think, when I started spending a lot more time with Chad. I think probably when I went off to Kutztown, when you come home for the summers, Chad had a swimming pool at his house, which I thought was a huge deal. But I spent
above ground or in ground?
No, it was in ground. My parents moved into a new place. When I was 18, they moved into a new house and an in-ground pool. It was great.
I spent a lot of time over there, and I enjoyed it. It was like a nice life for me to be over there. His parents were very friendly. They took to me, I took to them. Yeah. And then Chad and I we developed a good relationship. I used to spend a lot of time over there. So I came back from Mammoth with my future wife. I brought her back to Philly, and Chad reached out to me, and I was just doing landscaping and whatnot, just trying to start the life over back here. And he reached out and he said, "Hey man, I can probably, fill out this resume or whatever and application, and I could probably put in a word for you." So he did, it worked, and off we went. And I hated that life. It was an office job. I was in a cubicle, and I had just come from working on an 11,000-foot mountain in the Sierra Nevada, right?
Yeah.
I did my best. I tried to assimilate, but there was something about it. I wouldn't see Chad often in the office, but when I did, I looked at him differently. Right. And I still don't know why. Right. He didn't do anything.
You did this to me.
Yeah.
You made me work here. I had to iron pants this morning. What the hell's going on here?
I'll tell you, Ian. You know, like he.
Dad, I knew this guy was smart.
Can you believe this guy? He introduced you to his family. He would have you over for parties at the pool. His parents liked you. He was a super nice guy. He got you a job when you came back to town. Like, he was fucking asking for it, this guy, huh? How about it? Golly.
100%. And now the word like that, I feel really bad. I'm sorry, but Matt, you're right. Dude, screw him, dude. Who's he?
Oh yeah, he's totally asking for
his help. I didn't need it.
How dare you?
Yeah, how dare you? How dare you try to befriend this man, Chad? God, son of a bitch.
We were probably getting into our late 20s, right? And if you guys think back, like at different ages, at different parts of your life, like you think differently, you talk differently, you act differently, you have different ideals, different values. And I think maybe I was in a point in my life where there were certain things I didn't really understand, and if I could put the weight on one idea, it would be this. I never liked working, right? Ever since the first time. I hated working. I didn't like having a job. Like there was something about it that never felt right with me. I was always like a free spirit type guy, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I looked at Chad, and he had been there for a while now, and he was doing well. He was successful. He was well liked.
Yeah.
He had the same charisma that he had when we were teenagers. And now a broader audience was seeing that from him.
Yeah.
And I had similar, right? Like I was doing very well at the same company. But I looked at him and I said, fuck this guy. I said, where is the Chad? Where's the Chad that I was friends with when we were kids? This job sucks. I hate wearing this tie. Why can't he look at me and just wink at me and say, hey, this
is all an act. Yeah.
More years, and then me and you we're gonna sit down. We're gonna talk. We're gonna have fun again. I don't know. I'm just making that up, but there was something about it that angered me. And one day we were at a picnic and we were talking probably about money, about responsibility, about who knows what. And he said something, or I said something that was totally polar opposites.
Yeah.
And it triggered something inside of me. And I just, all the bad things that made up who I was came out. And I looked at him and said, Chad, you don't know shit about life. You don't know what you're talking about. You got everything all wrong. And I used that and I held strong to it. And we didn't talk for years after that.
I got mad. I got mad a little bit.
Sure.
From that.
All of our friends were mad. They're like, Ian, you're an asshole. Like, dude, what's your deal, dude? And I didn't give a shit. I'm like, nope, I'm not wrong. I'm right. His life is hard. He didn't do what he needed to do to get where he's at. He's fucking, it was just a weird thing. It was a really thing. So
to be, I mean,
he's my nemesis.
To be honest, dude, I know exactly what you're talking about in a way. Like, one, office politics is its own thing, and it does like it change, but it forces it's in a way. Like, I think you were partially mad at like being forced into conforming to the way of office politics, because I've been in the same boat with that. Like, it drives you up the fucking wall, dude. It drives you up the wall.
Chad was better at it than me, and I think that's maybe what made me mad.
Exactly. He assimilated better.
And I never expected that from him. And I didn't. I was like caught off guard, right?
Yeah. No, dude. Yeah. The office, dude. Office politics, it can turn things. Also, too, like if you're in your late 20s, like to be honest, dude, you're still at the phase of like you will pick a hill to die on. You know what I mean?
That was my hill. That was my hill.
I'm picking this hill. Go ahead, Chad.
But even then when that happened, I understood what Ian was going through. Like I understood that, and
I didn't know that.
I was like,
he told me that when we first reconnected, and when he said that to me, I was like, that blew my mind. I'm like, wow, you knew what was going on, because I was like.
Yeah, it took you 2 years to figure out what was going on.
Yeah. I mean, I knew, and I knew because Ian and I were really great friends, like growing up, and I always had a tremendous amount of respect. We had a lot of fun together and spent a lot of time together. Yeah. And I knew, like, you're finding your way, and you're finding yourself, and you're developing a career, and there's stumbling blocks that you have to overcome, and there's some successes, and there's stressors, and there's the politics, and then there's the evaluation process of working in a corporation. So all of that are pressures. Then you have your life pressure of figuring out who you are and who you want to be and are going to be and what you're great at. And so I get that. And sometimes things come to a head. So
I played a big role in that. I brought my wife back. She's from Southern California. She moved with me back to Philly. Culture shock. I mean, it wasn't an easy time in my life. So
Yeah.
No, but I understood that, you know, but I had that, but I also knew you, you know, and I knew like the kind of person you are, and I still had love for you through all that too. You know what I mean?
Man.
So
J-Dub, you win award for question of the year. Bet you never thought a simple question like that would go into that answer.
Honestly,
the
it's
first person
time.
whose nemesis, the first person whose nemesis is on the actual episode with them. Excellent choice for an answer.
What's up, Chad?
What
right there? That's my boy.
What
All
movie
right,
have you
keep
seen
going.
the most?
Oh, great question. Movie you've seen the most.
I like that. And I like movies. I like books. I like movies.
Same.
Man, let's go.
I have an answer to that too.
Off the
I would like to
top
hear.
of my head, Shawshank Redemption's right there.
Mhm.
No matter when it's on, I'll always try to find a part of it to watch.
Mhm.
I think I got to answer this, Chad, and don't be mad at me. Through the fucking Doors with Val Kilmer. The fucking
great
Doors.
film.
I will watch
Val
that.
Kilmer was so
if that is
fucking
on
good.
the TV, we will try and watch it.
Dude, I'll tell you, that's a guy that never gets the really credit he deserves. Val Kilmer is a fucking phenomenal actor. Tombstone, Willow, fucking The Doors. Like, this guy's just hit after hit after hit.
Yeah.
Dude, even like Top Gun as Iceman, you fucking hate. Like,
Heat was a great supporting role.
Batman.
Chris.
Yeah.
I think that's why.
Batman.
Who's Batman?
He did with Marson, I think really kind of spoke to me, right? My dad, that movie came out, I think in 93, maybe 92. I think I was 13 years old. Dude, my fucking dad took me to the movie theater in Montgomeryville to see that movie when it came out.
That's an awkward movie to watch with your parents.
Yo,
This is the end.
Yo, Dad, what? What? I tell my dad, I go, you ruined my life, right? Like, you did all of this to me. Whatever's wrong with me is because of that moment.
Yeah.
Is there
what
is
on?
Like,
Just
Matt. What's yours?
No, I want everyone else's answers first. What do you have, Justin? What's yours?
It's probably Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
It's up.
Oh, that's a good one.
I haven't seen that in a while.
I love it. I've seen it so many times.
So
Can the kids watch that or no?
Is that because of Roger? Is that because of Roger or because of Jessica Rabbit, J-Dub?
Nah, that's because of Roger. Yo, I love it.
Okay.
Why?
Okay.
All the times you pulled my ears? Yeah, all the times I pulled your ears, Roger.
James, what about you?
Oh, I don't know.
What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Yeah, what have you seen the most? It's usually a kid. It's usually a movie when you're a kid because like that's when you would watch like a movie 7 times in a day. You'd be like, that's all we had.
Oh, you know what? The South Park movie, I literally, when it came out, I watched it like 20 times.
What would Brian Boitano do if he was here right now?
yeah, on VHS. So I had to rewind it every time.
Classic.
Yeah, you got some twisted co-hosts on this show.
Yeah, hey man, that's why it works. What about you, Chad? What's your movie?
Oh man, well, one thing I always used to watch was Dumb and Dumber. I used to watch that all through college.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, before like tests and stuff, it would just put me in the right mindset. It would loosen things up, you know, and it was funny, you know, so I like that. Natural Born Killers I watched a ton too. There's something about that movie, man. And a lot of those.
Chad?
What's that?
When's the last time you saw that?
Oh, probably a couple months ago. It was on. You know, I watched it.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. I like a lot of the Quentin Tarantino stuff. A lot of the Tarantino
so
stuff.
good. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, you're absolutely right. No, I'm with you. I mean, for me, it's tough. On the Waterfront's up there, Raging Bull's up there. And then but even like as a kid, like you were saying, Justin, like Mighty Ducks D2, a million fucking times I've seen it. The Sandlot, million fucking times I've seen that one. You know, like so even Hook, I've seen Hook a million times. Dude, I used to love even like I remember. Did you ever see the movie Dogma? It's a Kevin Smith. It's a Kevin Smith.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that was the first Kevin Smith movie I ever saw. And I saw it at the exact right time because I was like 14, 15, and I fell in fucking love with Jay and Silent Bob. And I dude, I legit, we watched that movie like I would always put it on to go to sleep. I fucking adored that movie. I would watch it all. I really, really like Kevin Smith was a big like influence on me. And that was like the first one I ever saw. And then even like when I would like start dating girls, I'd have them come over and we'd have Kevin Smith marathons, and we'd start with like Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, and eventually Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And there's
there you go. That's a move.
There's no way that works for you, right, Matt? No way. There's no way.
I lost my virginity to Men in Black, so yeah, it didn't really work. You know?
Here come the Men in Black.
Wait, did you see the new Jay and Silent Bob? They made a new one
No, I didn't
recently.
No, I
Forget
didn't
what
see
it was
that.
on. It was
It's not
good.
very good.
No, you didn't think so?
So it's
Dude,
no
I'll
Jay
tell
and
you-
Silent Bob Strike Back.
I'll tell you,
No.
Clerks 2 was so fucking good. That
Really?
Was,
Okay.
Clerks 2 was hilarious. I fucking pissed myself watching.
Is there
Clerks 2.
is there anything like dumb that you like put together as an adult? Like it finally like clicked and you figured
ahead,
it out. I'll give
Justin.
you a
Talk about trauma.
reference point. I'm like sitting at dinner and I realize I'm like 18. I hadn't seen the movie since I was like 7, but I realized the beginning of Look Who's Talking. It just like I was like, it was Come. I get around singing, I get around. Oh, it was sperm. It's going to an egg. It's how they make Mikey. That's what the fuck it was. And I'm sitting at like an Olive Garden with my family, and in my head, I'm just like, it was Come. It was Come. That's what it was. The beginning of the movie, Come. Did you know that?
That's good.
Man.
Or like
That-
you realize that a pickle is actually just a cucumber. Like, you know, is there anything that you figured out late in life that you realized? And you're like, oh shit.
Justin admitted to not knowing how to spell the word trauma, and he worked at a hospital.
Oh, I figured that out like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
There's a U in there for like no reason. This is wild. I was like,
You're North Penn guy too, Justin. You North Penn guy too.
Sure.
yeah,
is.
I skipped 52 days, 11th grade.
Figures.
I was 80.
Yeah.
You
I
hit
got it.
80. You have to repeat the grade.
I got
In-
expelled
in,
from 2 high schools,
senior
guys.
year.
Let's not brag about that.
Okay, so hold on. Let me pause right there. 3 comments right there within 10 seconds. Hey, no business being on a podcast, no business allowing other people, strangers, to hear what we're talking about. You guys do understand that, right?
Right. There's no reason to be influenced by anything that we say. I mean, if coming from a scholastic standpoint, like college, are you fucking kidding? Never even sniffed it, right? And barely got through high school, but hey, I fucking graduated, so nib high football rules. You know what I'm saying?
God.
So yeah,
School doesn't write your path.
hey, that's it, man. That's it, dude. I'll tell you.
What'd you figure out late in life?
Man, Justin, I love the question, man. I think it's great, but like my life has been the last like 4 or 5 years of my life have been very different, and so many things I've gone through here that I have an answer for that, and I probably have multiple answers. I can't think of anything right now off the top of my head, dude. Like it's so obvious, it's so obvious when you can't think of it.
Do you want a gross question or a nice question?
Nice. Yeah, let's go nice. Let's go nice.
What's the last good deed you did for a stranger?
Ooh, I like that.
Anything nice
Holding
you
a
did
door,
for somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want an answer that combines nice and gross?
Yeah.
Not so
Down the
long
street.
ago, this lady let her dog shit on the sidewalk right in front of my driveway. And dog shit is like a huge pet peeve of mine. So the nice thing I did was
Pet peeve.
I picked it up for her, right? I picked it up for her, right?
Yeah.
That was a nice thing I did, right? After I asked her, she said no, and I didn't ask her again. I just did it for her. The gross thing was what I did with it afterwards.
Oh, what'd you do?
Let's just say this: that lady will never let her dog shit in front of anybody's house ever again.
Fucking good.
Did you throw
Fuck
it at her?
No, oh come on, bro, I'm better than that.
No, he put it in a sandwich and she ate it. Duh.
No, I'm better than that too.
What'd you do? Light the bag on fire?
No. That's a great question. You know why? Because doing nice things I enjoy doing that. I don't do it as much as I should, but I think as you get older in life, and especially if you're blessed with a nice life, like say Chad and I are, and I would assume the 3 of you are as well. I think it's important to really kind of dig deep if it doesn't come natural to you, because it does not come natural to me at all.
Mm-hmm.
And do nice things for other people. It doesn't matter if it's for your wife, your son, a grandpa, whatever, a stranger in the community. I just think it's like it's part of our responsibility, I think, as a human being,
Agreed. No, you have to. Yeah. You should take advantage of it.
People.
Agreed. No, that does go a long way. You should being a good person should be on your list, no matter what your circumstances are. I agree.
100%.
Yeah. So, okay, Justin, one more question.
Yeah. Is space fake? Is there like a ferment a layer of water above the earth in which no one's ever escaped from?
Motherfucker, dude.
I knew it.
I go, if these guys are assholes, they're going to come up with something as soon as they hear I work for SpaceX. I go, nah, they won't. Either they're not smart enough or they're going to be nice. Fuck you, dude.
Admit it, yo. Admit that space is fake.
Justin, you dipshit. All right, let's get
Antarctic is
James.
fake. I just have one last. My final question, as always, is Ian. Do you have any questions for me?
Oh, I got a lot. I got a lot.
You can only have one. Do you have a question?
How much weed do you smoke?
On a daily basis, or what kind of regulated do you want to know?
Never mind. That's
usually like a gram a day, and plus sometimes I get a.
That's a California question. I don't really need an answer.
I rock out with like a gram a day.
You told me your age. Married, kids, girlfriend.
I have a girlfriend of 7 years.
That's way too good looking for him.
Way too good looking.
That's what we hear.
Way too good of a person.
That's what we hear. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. So that's my question. And now that you gave me the timeline on that, married, ring, like, what are you doing, bro? Hey, why don't you cut that gram down to half a gram and go buy a ring and get on with it?
That's some great advice.
You're right.
Come on, Matt. What
Right down the table.
I told him, I was like, bro, you need to fucking lock that player up, like franchise that player so you do not lose him in free agency.
Put on the franchise tag.
Yeah.
Right.
You need to franchise tag her
right now. I haven't been home in a while, man, so I'm not really sure what's going on back there. But I'll tell you what, dude, if this girl is what these guys say she is, I wouldn't really mess around with that, dude.
Yeah. Well, I mean, her episode's available now on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Work Perspectives Podcast.
Wow.
The Veronica Cavella episode. It's a great time.
My wife will block that. Block that.
But yeah, sure. Yeah. Justin, we support you and love you, whatever you do, but you're a fucking idiot. You should marry her. Either way, let's keep it moving. James, do you have a question for our guest?
All right. What accomplishments are you most proud of?
Oh, thank you for asking me that.
It's been the fake space.
Yeah, I would say
Justin.
Oh man. So like for work, like I've done a couple things that I look back on and I say, wow, like that's pretty cool that like you were able to do that. And it's really cool that like you can tell someone you did that. And like if they want to talk about it or appreciate it, like it's a topic, it's a thing, like it's a good conversation. So the first job I got, when the market crashed in 2008, I lost my job at the company I worked for with Chad, and I was devastated. It was a devastating time for me, and I kind of had to rebuild myself, reinvent myself. And I got a job building custom cabinets for $12 an hour at the age of, I think, 30 or 31.
That's tough.
And then I found my way into a company called Carson Helicopters in Percy, Pennsylvania. It had been around for a long time. It was owner operated. Some old man, Frank Carson, decided to buy some old big ass helicopters, refurbish them, and use them for construction, search and rescue, firefighting. I got a job there, low level, $14 an hour, working on the big rotor blades that went on the helicopters. And on the front edge of that rotor blade, it's called the leading edge, the edge that hits the air. Yeah. It was a solid nickel piece. And my job was I took a custom weight, a sanding block that they built. It weighed 17 pounds. And I used to have to install sandpaper onto it. And for 8, 9, 10 hours a day, I would sand the rotor blades. They were 17 feet long. And I would sand them. I would go 80 grit. I would go 220 grit. I would go Scotch-Brite all day, sand all day long. I dropped down to 188 pounds.
Yeah.
I had stomach muscles. It was dope, right?
Yeah.
Found out after I did a set with 6 of them. I found out a couple of months after I did the set, the helicopters that we built are the same kind of helicopter that the President of the United States flies in.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. At the time, I think it was Obama. The set that I sanded and polished and finished got installed onto the president's helicopter.
Shut
up.
So I thought that was like a pretty neat thing, right? Like like to build something like your workmanship.
Yeah.
Like, where it went to, like that was
dude, that is exactly what we were talking about on this show. right? Like that's exactly what we were talking about. The president gets into this helicopter. We all see it. Who put that shit together? Who got the parts? Like, yeah, exactly. It's guys like Ian out there that are they're building this world around us that we get to live in, and it's fun. That's what I love hearing. I love hearing that stuff.
It's crazy.
So
so then my next answer would be this. So left Philly, right, California after my son was born. No job out here. But I made such an impression on a number of guys in the aviation community and from Washington State and Oregon. And as soon as I got to California, I got multiple offers to come up there and work and rebuild helicopters up there. I did that for a little bit. The wife did not want me to travel anymore. She said, you need to be home. You need a normal job. Well, the normal job was SpaceX in Los Angeles. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I liked what I was doing. Here I was, working in Hawthorne, LA for SpaceX. 2013, I was employee number 2,500, maybe, building the Dragon space capsule that would go to the International Space Station to send cargo up to the astronauts up there. Now, I worked night shift for the first time in my life because I got extra money to do it. And that was the wildest 2 years I have ever spent in my entire life. Now, we could go into that. That's a whole nother story. But you want to talk about being proud of something, actually doing something important. I took that one opportunity and I did the absolute most I could do with it. So I told you guys, I never liked work. I hate work. I can't stand it. Mm-hmm. But I took work and every job along the way, ever since the first ones I told you. And I said, I don't know what I'm going to do in this life. I don't think I have any natural talents. I really don't have any goals, aspirations. Like the life for me was kind of a joke, right? Mm-hmm. I found out not too long ago, I have depression. I'm a depressed person. I have major depression. And I kind of knew something was off, right, my entire life. But I never really cared because I learned how to cope with it and deal with it and go to work and do something with my life. Yeah. So
functioning.
I look back and I realized that's actually what happened. I hated working, couldn't stand it every step of the way. Mm-hmm. But I made this decision early on and I said, you know what? If you're going to work, right? Like if you can't do what you want to do with your life, which was like move to Big Sur, get a hippie girlfriend and try to write a book on the beach, right? Like that wasn't happening. So go to work. And I said, screw it. Like this job sucks. Like I don't really care about like what happens with my life. So what happens if I do try my best? And that's the way I approached every single job.
And that winds up being the adventure of your life.
All of a sudden in about 2014, I get called to a meeting and there's ex-astronauts, there's astronauts' wives from the Challenger, engineers that have been in the aerospace community for a very, very long time. And they give us a presentation on failed man missions. And it was all about how simple man mistakes cause catastrophe and people lose lives. And that's it's real. Mm-hmm. Like your work and what you do affects lives of A, the people around you, and B, people that you'll never even come close to meeting. Yeah. And when I got done with that, looking and listening to that presentation, I think if I wasn't crying, I wanted to. And I looked at one of my main engineers and they had said right before we left, they said, this is what you will be doing. We are going to build the same space capsule we build now, but instead of putting cargo on it, we're going to put the next American astronauts on it. We're not going to pay Russia to send our astronauts up anymore. You're going to send them up.
No shit.
And I left that meeting and I said, I didn't sign up for this. I did not sign up for this. I knew how we built those previous space capsules, right? Like it was you guys. If you guys would have saw some of those nights there, 2 a.m. in the factory, you guys would have enjoyed it, I think.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to do that, right? Like the smallest mistake. Well, if you guys do your research, look at how this space shuttles blew up. They blew up by the most random things you could ever imagine.
One little hair out of line.
Yeah. So I did that, right? And then I moved up here. I launched rockets. I would go out to Cape Canaveral. SpaceX was the first company in the history of the world to launch a rocket into space, which I think's real, jdub. I'm pretty sure is real, into space, and then have it come back down and land and then reuse it and do it again. Prior to that, all the rockets that I've ever launched and put satellites up there crashed into the ocean or burned up in the atmosphere. When they landed the very first rocket, they called me to come out to Cape Canaveral to check it out and look at it and start working on it. Me and maybe like 3 other guys.
Wow.
Like
That's awesome.
That was an achievement, right?
Yeah.
After that, I got asked to move to Florida, to Cape Canaveral, to actually work on the space capsules that were designed and built for the astronauts. That was like a high thing to be asked to do that, right? I took my wife out there. She was like, "Nah, we're not moving to Florida." So just kind of the combination of those things.
That's incredible, man.
It's been a pretty mind-blowing trip.
Think about this.
I built that. So that picture right there is one of the space capsules, the Dragon space capsules that I built, and it's docked at the International Space Station, which is that top dark gray portion right there.
Dude,
so.
Think about this, right? Think about this. How many people can say that they've touched something or worked on something, like not let alone touch something, but worked on something that's been to space?
That's awesome.
And you know what? And Matt, you know what? I have asked myself that, and me and the coworkers, we have asked ourselves that. And prior to that, like I said, I never really cared about work. It was always just kind of a necessity, right?
Yeah.
Fuck this, man. Like, there's so many other better lives to live out there. Like, why do you have to go to a job? Like, this sucks, right?
Dude, honestly, man.
And it got to a point where we kind of started looking at each other while we're at work, saying, like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what are we doing here? Like, they used to let me and this crazy dude, my best friend Kelly up here. This dude's freaking dope. They used to let me and him be the last people to actually work on the rocket, like fix some things and then button it up before it launched. Me and this
God bless him.
California dude, this character, right? So like we would be like, dude, do you know how many people on the planet do what we do? And that was a real question, and there's a real answer to that. And that number,
and the answer is 10.
Number is low. There's not many, dude.
There is like a real sense of responsibility when you're I touched it last. Like whoever touched it last did it. You know what I mean? Like you might have just screwed the last bolt on the door, but if that thing blows up, you're like, he touched it last. He was doing stuff to it.
And guess what? Hey, and I've seen it. So we've had a couple failures, and we've watched live a rocket blow up, right? Hey, what do you think happens when everyone sees that? Everyone starts looking around. Who was the last one to touch it? What did you do? What did you do? What did you work on?
Dude.
That space capsule right there, that's like a $60 million piece of hardware. $60 million.
Because that I know that the rocket you're talking about that can land itself. So it looks like your standard rocket standing upright lands perfectly back where it was launched from, which is insane.
Yeah, we just did one where I used to work right out here on this launch pad. They just did it 2 nights ago, or no, Friday night of last week. They just did it. Hey, when that comes back down, it breaks the sound barrier, and the sonic boom that you hear is fucking intense. The house rattles, the windows shake. It's gnarly, dude.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's gnarly, dude.
Dude, I'll tell you, man, honestly, I'm fascinated by that stuff, and I'm really, really happy that you shared that with us. But we are coming towards the top of time.
I told you we need more than an hour and a half. I told you we're just getting started, boy.
I know, but
we're going to the moon.
We're going.
Yeah, we are
to the moon.
I'll send you to the moon. You're going to the moon, not me.
I might be. I'm going to California.
And when he gets here, you guys tell me what you want me to do with him.
Yeah, Justin's been to the moon earlier today, if you know what I mean. But
fake moon.
Yeah, but
oh jeez.
Yeah. But we are coming towards the top of time. Before we get out of here, though, Ian, I'll tell you, me, Justin, Jamie, and Chad, we're all on the same page with this. But we would love to have you back on the show if you'd be willing to come back.
Oh, of course. You know, yes. The answer is yes. I definitely would. You just let me know. And honestly, this was fun for me. And if you can't tell, like I'm comfortable with this, which I find ironic because I just spent the last week with Chad. Like for me,
uncomfortable.
To tell my story, right?
He's your nemesis.
When I watch Chad,
of course be uncomfortable.
I say, yeah, Chad, my bad. That shouldn't have been the answer to that question.
Oh,
I should have said
beautiful thing.
I should have said my wife is my nemesis.
Yeah. It's an equal thing, you know. Love and hate are very close.
Right? Like this, huh?
True.
When I listened to Chad, when you asked Chad some questions about his life, I heard him give some answers about things that I didn't even know about him, right? And that really intrigued me. I said, wow, like this life is crazy. Like there are things that you think you know, but you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard Chad say some things, and I said, man, like I have a story, right? Even though like it's not a big deal to me, like, and I would love, like I have a blast, like going to the bar and having a couple of beers with the boys, like the things we talk about, like we have a good time. Right?
It's the best.
So when Chad mentioned the idea of coming on here, I was nervous, I was anxious, I was scared, because for me to tell like a story about my life or whatever, like that's a meaningful, significant thing to me, right? All the way from the firewood, to launching, rockets into space. And I always imagine if I ever had a chance to do it, like I wanted it to be like, I wanted to be perfect. I want it to be structured correctly, outlined correctly. I want to use the correct words. I want to tell the story in the best way I possibly could. Right. Like, like I like Ernest Hemingway and John Steinbeck. And I like that because those guys are good at telling stories. And I didn't think I'd be able to do that. And I probably never will, right? And Chad just said, I know what you want. I know what you're asking for, and I know why you're nervous. And he goes, but you don't have to worry about that. And he goes, I'm going to come on there with you. And he goes, you're not even going to, and I asked him, I said, I need you to come on there with me because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, right? Mm-hmm. And he said, you're going to be good. You're going to be comfortable. You're going to be fine. And he was absolutely right. So I would come on again anytime.
Oh, dude, thank you. That was great. But I do want to talk about this before we get out of here. I do want to shout out Thick Fit USA and my man, the man who put this all together, the main man, Chad Kilhefner. Chad, thank you so much for being here. I want to give a little message. Like, you can find Thick Fit USA on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and everything. We'll have links in the description for that. But Chad, what can we expect from Thick Fit USA going forward, and what's some big things you got coming up? Because I know you said is the merch line coming or what?
Yeah, we're gonna do some of that. We have a t-shirt design. We're gonna get some rash guards, some shirts.
I still never got that t-shirt I want, Chad. Never sent it to me.
That's because I'm waiting to bring it to you and deliver it in person. I'm waiting for my invite, my friend.
Whoa. The nemesis strikes again.
But it's all about, being healthy, being strong, being fit, being dangerous, using it for good. Right. Yes. So all of that. And that is mentally, it's physically, it's spiritually, it's putting a community together of like-minded people to help each other get better and to be support networks for one another, just like we were talking about today, and just like what you're doing at Working Perspectives podcast. Now, I found my love, and something that changed my life was jujitsu, and how that really helped transform my body, helped me, harness my aggression, and use it in a positive way instead of going to drink or just, doing things that might be self-destructive. How can we do things that are positive, that are going to help you get better, and sharing that? So I'm using jiu-jitsu as an example and other things, but I want it to be a community and a place where people can come and hopefully share things that do that for them. Right. Yeah. So come check it out on Instagram, and we're going to be doing some more stuff there, but keep at it. You're doing great work, and thanks for everything that you're doing and supporting the community, and with what you're doing with Working Perspectives. It's really a pleasure to watch you guys and see you guys grow.
Oh, dude, you're the best, man. Thank you. And no, dude, so happy for you. I love Thick Fit USA. Love your message. Love what you're trying to do.
I told you I'd forget about Thick Fit USA. That's what I mean. Right. I want to tell the story. Thick Fit USA and Chad and I reconnecting, that was a huge part of it, right? I told Chad, when he told me about that idea, I was 100% behind him. I told him I'm his first member. I'm signing up first. And that was the big deal. The themes behind that, the reasons behind that are why Chad and I kind of became friends again. And I told him, I said, I'm going to forget to talk about that tomorrow. I'm going to forget.
All right.
Thick Fit brings the people together.
That's true.
That's what we do.
That's true.
I gave him shit about that name too. That name took me.
I love it.
Oh God, right?
I love it. I love it when you first brought it up. I was like, the reason behind it is like, we roll thick. Thick is as part of your body, your mind. It's thick is in, and then USA, it's best fucking country in the world, baby. USA,
come together.
Thick Fit USA, all one word. Chad's got a lot of great things to say on there, speech and written.
It's a great follow. It's fantastic.
Love you, Chad. Hey, you're doing a good job, buddy.
Yeah, every once in a while we pop up on there together, right, Chad?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Lots of guests, lots of cameos.
Yeah. No, I love it. And we'll have a link in the description of this episode for that. Super excited to see what we have coming up from Thick Fit USA. Big fan. And dude, Chad, I couldn't agree with you more. And we've talked about this, about like building our ecosystem here, and like you're one of the guys that one of the things I think, and we've all discovered this in life, is there are a lot of people that will say things, and there's not so many people that will do things. And Chad, you're someone that's, when you say something, you do it. And it's, that's something you should be very proud of and hang your hat on. And, the ecosystem you're building, it's great, man. I'm happy to be a part of it. So thank you so much for being back. This was so much fun.
My friend.
True, man. It's very true. There's a lot of people out here where I live and who I've met in California. That's what they do, man. It's called an entrepreneur. And that's a big deal. It's a big deal to do something like that. It takes balls,
Big
it takes
time.
guts. It takes guts.
Absolutely. I agree. Jamie, what do you got to say before we get the hell out of here?
Well, thanks, Ian, for telling your story. That's all I have to say.
Great.
It was really interesting. It was interesting hearing it.
James, I'm not gonna lie.
We just scratched the surface, Jamie. We just scratched the surface.
Really?
I know. I want to know more about SpaceX.
Yeah, me too. I mean, James, I'll tell you this though. I'm not gonna lie. You always look great, but you are like crystal clear with your new webcam.
Nice. I love it.
4K in effect.
Bravo, Jamie.
Fantastic. Justin, not looking as clear as Jamie, but what's going on? What do you got to say before we get out of here?
I'd like to quote Ian from today's episode and just say, from firewood to launching rockets into space, I was thoroughly entertained.
Hey, go birds. Go birds.
And
Go birds.
I was actually going to ask you that too. Yeah, you rep the birds out there?
I went to the Super Bowl, bro.
Attaboy, kid.
Oh, shit.
Hey, who goes to the Super Bowl? Some poor kid from Quakertown? Hey, you're damn right. You're damn right.
It's a bold commitment.
Goddamn right.
I wouldn't have the heart of it.
Hey, Vegas this year, boys. I already told my dad I'm getting him a ticket. Hey, you guys, let's go. Let's do it.
Dude, we'll do a live shoot from the Super Bowl.
Live on the road.
Oh, hey, best time of my life. Best, come. Best. You won't, no matter how much dollars you have to spend, you will not regret it.
That
Guaranteed.
good of a time, huh?
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? 100%.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You missed all the commercials.
That's the best part, right? The
I
commercial.
know.
Oh, no. Once you go live with all your Philly people,
No,
forget
dude.
those commercials.
Well, Philly took
Forget
over
about
that stadium too. So
Oh, yeah, let me tell you this. I recently found out the rest of the people out there, they don't like us anymore. For some reason, we became categorized with the Raiders fans.
Yeah, well,
You guys know.
they can fuck off.
No one likes us.
Yeah.
No one likes us.
No one likes us. We don't care. Yeah, we know. All right, nice. Well, speaking of no one liking us, this has been another episode of the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied today by jdub, Justin Richardson, the amazing Jamie Iglesias, Thick Fit USA himself, Chad Kilhefner, and our guest today was the incredible, the amazing, the outstanding SpaceX man, Ian Hewitt. In case you guys are wondering, you can find all our stuff and all our content on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast, and you can join us on the Twitter and the TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workperspectives@gmail.com, and please like and subscribe so we keep bringing you this sweet, sweet content. Thanks for listening. Stick around for the ad read. Thanks. See ya.